Eala to start Philippine Women's Open campaign versus Alina Charaeva. Eala will open her Philippine Women's Open campaign against Alina Charaeva. According to the draw released on the WTA website, the second-seeded Eala will face the 23-year-old Russian in the round of 32, with the main draw expected to begin on Monday. However, the final date and time of her match have yet to be announced. Charaeva is currently ranked number 163 and previously reached a career-high ranking of number 142 in September 2025. 3 other Filipino players will also compete in the main draw: Kay and Imana, Elizabeth Abarquez, and Teniel Maidis. Imana is set to face Tatiana Prozorova in the round of 32, while Maidis will go up against Thailand's Mananchaya Sawangkaew. Sawangkaew previously faced Eala in the finals of the Southeast Asian Games, where Eala claimed the gold medal. Meanwhile, Abarquez will take on Japan's Mai Hontama. In the first qualifying round held earlier, Filipina Steffi Aludo defeated Angeline Alcala 6-1, 6-0, while Thailand's Pingtan Earth Plipuek cruised past Lorraine Jallarina 6-0, 6-1. On a bright Manila morning, the air thick with both humidity and anticipation, a collective heartbeat surged through the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center. It wasn't just another tournament. It was the dawn of a new chapter in Filipino sports. The Philippine Women's Open, a WTA 125 event making its debut on local soil, was ready to unfold. And at the center of that story stood Eala, the Philippines' greatest tennis hope and its fiercest champion. At just 20 years old, Alex had already redefined what was possible for Filipino athletes on the global stage. She was more than a tennis player. She was a symbol of aspiration, a trailblazer stripping away barriers and painting the dreams of a nation in bold strokes. She carried the hopes of millions not only with her racket, but with every stride, every practice swing, every moment of quiet preparation. Today marked her first match of the Philippine Women's Open, a homecoming match that pitted her against Russia's Alina Charaeva in the round of 32. The draw was set, the fans electric, the energy unmistakable. Charaeva, a world number 163 with a career high of number 142, would be the first obstacle in this fresh campaign, a challenge worthy of Alex's growing legacy. From Quezon City to the world stage, Alex's story didn't begin on this court. It began in Quezon City, where a young girl picked up a tennis racket and dreamed big. Backed by a sports-loving family and driven by an unmatched work ethic, she ventured far from home to hone her craft, training at the prestigious Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, where greatness was not only taught, but demanded. Those early sacrifices bore fruit. Alex became the first Filipino in history to break into the WTA Top 50, reaching a career-high ranking of number 49 in January 2026, a testament to her relentless rise through the sports elite. Her journey wasn't linear. She faced heartbreaks and tough exits, including an early loss at the Australian Open and a challenging Japan Women's Open campaign earlier in the season. But each setback only steeled her resolve. A nation holds its breath. In the weeks leading up to the Philippine Women's Open, energy around the event reached a fever pitch. Manila buzzed with ticket sales, social media chatter, and conversations about who would lift the trophy. For the first time, a major women's tennis event was unfolding not in far-off Paris or New York, but here, under the Philippine sun. And at the heart of it all was Alex. Fans took to the stands with pride flags and jerseys. Young players, inspired by Alex's presence, sought scraps of advice or an autograph. The echoes of their cheers would soon become the rhythmic backdrop to a match that was as much about passion as it was about tennis. As Alex stepped onto the court for her first match of the Philippine Women's Open, she felt the pulse of the crowd, not as pressure, but as fuel. She heard every chant, every wave of applause, every "Go Alex," that washed over the stands. This was her people. This was her home. Alina Charaeva, the first hurdle. Across the net stood Alina Charaeva, a capable and hungry opponent from Russia, seasoned enough to pose a real challenge. Though she might not carry the same global fanfare as Alex, Charaeva was a professional with experience and resolve. For Alex, Charaeva was not merely a rival, she was a reminder of how far Alex had climbed. Every opponent at this level demanded respect, and Alex was ready to meet them head-on. More than just a match. But this match was more than just points, serves, and returns. It was a symbolic start to something bigger. It was the beginning of Alex's campaign in the Philippine Women's Open, a tournament she had dreamed of playing in since earning her first WTA ranking points. It was a celebration of Philippine tennis, overdue and long anticipated. It was an affirmation that a young Filipina could stand among the world's best and challenge them on home soil. The significance of this moment rippled far beyond the lines of a tennis court. The pressure and the passion. Athletes often talk about pressure as a burden, but for Alex, pressure was a privilege. It was proof that people cared, that her victories mattered, that her performances had meaning beyond personal success. She had already carved her name into tennis lore for her country. From becoming the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam main draw match, a sensational victory at the 2025 U.S. Open, to clinching a WTA title at the Guadalajara 125 Open. And yet, here she was, starting a new chapter where the stakes felt even higher, not for world ranking points alone, but for national pride. A serve toward destiny. As the umpire called the players onto the court, the crowd lifted to its feet. The flags waved. The chants grew louder. For a young Filipino girl watching from the stands, this might be the moment she decided tennis was her future. For a father passing on his love for sports to his daughter, this was a moment to share. For an entire nation, tired of waiting, yearning for a breakthrough, this was the moment they could cheer with unabashed pride. Alex bounced the ball. She exhaled. She began. Each point, each rally, each step forward carried the weight of hope, but also the joy of competition. This was more than a match. This was a launchpad,